Every man needs certain core skills to thrive in life. Yet recent research shows testosterone levels in modern men have dropped by 1% every year for the past 30 years. Even more alarming? A study in the Journal of Hand Therapy found that millennial men's grip strength is significantly lower than their fathers. The average man today can barely manage what a 30-year-old woman could grip in 1985. What you're about to learn are 7 essential skills that every successful man must master. These aren't just random abilities. They're the core competencies that built empires and forged leaders throughout history. From ancient warriors to modern CEOs, these skills have remained unchanged. They're what separate the exceptional from the average, the leaders from the followers. Pay close attention to skill number 6, because it's the exact same technique Navy SEALs use to perform under extreme pressure, and it's probably the reason why you're not achieving everything you're capable of. Number 1. Knowing how to fight. The first essential skill might surprise you, especially if you work in an office or consider yourself a modern man. But here's a hard truth. According to FBI statistics, 89% of men will face at least one potentially violent confrontation in their lifetime. Now, I'm not talking about becoming a cage fighter. This is about something more fundamental, the core confidence that comes from knowing you can protect yourself and those you care about. Let me tell you about Michael, a tech executive I trained. He never thought he'd need fighting skills until 3 guys followed his family in a parking lot. His wife looked at him, expecting protection. That moment changed everything. After 6 months of training, he told me it wasn't just about the fighting skills. His entire presence changed. His team at work started respecting him more. Why? Because when you know you can handle physical confrontation, it shows in everything you do. Here's what you need to do. Start with basics. Find a reputable self-defense class or boxing gym. Focus on fundamentals, proper stance, basic strikes, and most importantly, situational awareness. The goal isn't to win street fights. It's about carrying yourself with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can handle yourself if needed. Remember, true strength isn't about intimidation. It's about having the capability to protect what matters most to you. Number 2, the ability to diffuse conflict. After mastering the art of combat, here comes an even more powerful skill, the ability to avoid using it. Think about this. A study of successful CEOs found that 90% of their most crucial victories came not from confrontation, but from strategic de-escalation. This is where true power lies. Consider this fascinating observation from primatologist Jane Goodall. The most dominant silverback gorillas rarely fight. Why? Because they've mastered something far more powerful, the ability to command calm through presence alone. Let me share a real situation. James, a nightclub owner I know, faced an aggressive drunk threatening to tear the place apart. Instead of calling security, he used what I call the calm authority technique, lowered his voice, maintained eye contact, and spoke with measured confidence. The situation dissolved in minutes. Here's the 3-step framework I teach. First, lower your voice. Speaking softly forces others to calm down to hear you. Second, use pacing and leading. Acknowledge their emotion before redirecting it. Finally, give them a face-saving exit. The goal isn't to win an argument, but to win the outcome. Remember, any animal can bare its teeth, but only the true alpha can bring peace to chaos. Number 3, having a strong presence. Harvard Business School found that 93% of communication impact comes not from what you say, but from how you carry yourself. Let me tell you about 2 contrasting meetings I witnessed last month. Same company, same boardroom, completely different outcomes. First meeting. David, a senior engineer, presented his brilliant solution to a $1 million problem. He shuffled in quickly, hunched over his laptop, spoke rapidly while looking at his slides. Despite his excellent ideas, the room felt flat. Executives checked their phones. Meeting ended with a, "We'll think about it." Second meeting. Mark, presenting the same level project. He entered deliberately, took a moment to scan the room, acknowledged each executive with eye contact. Before even opening his presentation, he stood in silence for 3 seconds. Suddenly, everyone put their phones down. Same technical content, but his presence commanded attention. Result? Immediate project approval and a promotion offer. Here's the exact system Mark used. Stand as if a string is pulling you up from your crown. Master the art of the 3-second eye contact hold. When entering a room, pause for 1 full second at the doorway. Move with purpose. No fidgeting, no rushed movements. Speak from your diaphragm, not your throat. These aren't tricks. They're the physical foundations of natural authority that every man can master. Number 4, deep critical thinking. Let me tell you how critical thinking saved one of the biggest mergers in Silicon Valley. 2 years ago, John, a CEO I mentor, was about to sign a $200 million acquisition deal. Every advisor pushed for a quick close. The numbers looked perfect, the synergies made sense, but something felt off. Instead of following the crowd, John used what I call the reverse angle analysis. He spent 3 hours alone, asking one crucial question. Why would the other company want to sell if things are so great? This led him to dig deeper into their European market data. What he found was shocking. Their biggest market was about to be regulated out of existence. That one question saved his company from a $200 million mistake. Here's the 3-step framework John used. First, identify the mainstream opinion, what everyone knows to be true. Second, ask the uncomfortable why questions that others avoid. Finally, look for data that could prove you wrong, not right. Warren Buffett's partner, Charlie Munger, calls this inverse thinking. While others chase what's popular, the real power lies in seeing what others miss. Remember, in a world where everyone has access to the same information, the advantage goes to those who can think differently. The trick isn't having more information, it's having better questions. Number 5, being good with money. Let me tell you about Mike, a senior developer earning $150,000 a year, who was still living paycheck to paycheck. Like most men, he thought a high income meant financial success. One night, after seeing his bank account empty again, he called me in frustration. I make great money, but I'm still broke. What am I doing wrong? What happened next transformed his financial life. We discovered he had what I call high-income poverty, a condition affecting 76% of professional men today. Here's the shocking part. 18 months later, with the same salary, Mike had built a $100,000 investment portfolio and was generating passive income. The difference? Not how much he made, but how he thought about money. Here's the exact system he used. First, the military money formation. Divide every dollar into 4 battalions. Operations 50%, strategic reserves 30%, growth forces 15%, and intelligence 5%. Second, automate everything. Money should move like a military operation, precisely and without emotion. Finally, focus on assets, not expenses. Most men obsess over saving $5 on coffee while ignoring opportunities to make $500 in investments. Remember, financial intelligence isn't taught in schools. But it's the difference between being a man who works for money and a man whose money works for him. Number 6, managing stress. Let me share something that happened in a Fortune 500 boardroom last month. Tom, a rising executive, was presenting the biggest deal of his career when his mind went completely blank. Heart racing, palms sweating, classic stress response. But instead of freezing, he did something that stunned everyone. He took 3 deliberate breaths, smiled, and delivered the presentation flawlessly. Later, he revealed the Navy SEAL technique that saved him. Here's the shocking truth. Stanford research shows that top performers don't have less stress. They have better stress response systems. Take James, a hedge fund trader who was losing millions on bad decisions made under pressure. After learning what I call the Special Forces stress protocol, he turned his biggest weakness into his edge. Last year, he made his best trades during market crashes, while others panicked. Here's the exact system. First, master the 4-4-4 breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4. This instantly resets your nervous system. Second, use stress reframing. Label it as excitement, not anxiety. Your body can't tell the difference. Finally, create what special forces call stress inoculation. Deliberately put yourself in challenging situations during practice, so real pressure feels familiar. Remember, stress isn't your enemy. An untrained stress response is. In nature, the alpha wolf isn't the one who never feels pressure. He's the one who performs best under it. Number 7. Social mastery. Let me tell you about the most powerful dinner I've ever witnessed. Alex, a seemingly average tech entrepreneur, walked into a room full of billionaires and industry titans. Within an hour, he had 3 major investors competing to fund his startup. His secret wasn't his pitch, it was his mastery of social dynamics. Here's what most people missed. While others were busy talking about themselves, Alex was using what I call social chess. He noticed the subtle power dynamics, who others looked at before laughing, who controlled the conversation flow. Then he did something brilliant. Instead of approaching the biggest names directly, he charmed the quiet guy everyone seemed to respect. Turns out, that quiet guy was the kingmaker who had backed every major success in the room. Here's the exact system. First, master power mapping. Spend the first 10 minutes in any room observing who holds real influence, not just obvious status. Second, use value bridging. Connect people in ways that benefit them both, making yourself the valuable link. Finally, practice what FBI negotiators call controlled empathy, the ability to read and respond to subtle social cues while keeping your own emotions in check. Remember, in today's world, the ability to navigate social dynamics isn't just a nice skill. It's the hidden force behind every major success. The strongest man in the room isn't always the one with the biggest muscles or the highest title. It's the one who can influence without seeming to try. In a world where traditional masculinity is often misunderstood, these 7 skills aren't just options. They're essential foundations of being a capable man. From the primal confidence of knowing how to fight, to the subtle power of social mastery, each skill builds upon the others to create something greater. You don't need to master all 7 tomorrow. Start with 1. Maybe it's taking that first boxing class, or applying the Special Forces breathing technique during your next high-pressure meeting. Remember, what separates successful men isn't just knowing these skills. It's having the discipline to practice them. Next week, I'll show you how to combine these skills to handle the 3 most challenging situations every man faces. Hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments which skill you're going to work on first.